Do you remember the PlayStation 3 era? Those years when Sonic tried to make a big leap compared to the PS2. So today we're going to talk about what we consider to be the greatest gems of the PS3. We're talking about the best of the PS3, focusing on its exclusives and leaving out the multi-platform titles. Siren Blood Curse.
That don't look right. What is that?
Did you feel that just now? It felt like everything shook for a second. What are they doing? I thought this was an abandoned village. Who are those people?
Let's start with a remake of the first Siren, which delivered a heavy dose of terror, violence, and plenty of zombies. The story is set in the town of Hanuta, Japan, with a series of characters experiencing unexpected paranormal events, demonic rituals, chases in train cars, and sudden transformations into monsters. But the strangest thing might be that this game feels like a twisted tour guide of Hanuta, breaking all the visual expectations you've ever had thanks to its split-screen storytelling. Its atmosphere sometimes recalls Silent Hill or Resident Evil 4. It's not as polished, but if you give it a chance, you'll likely enjoy it. Folklore. This exclusive is a cult classic for a very small group of gamers, as it flew under the radar for the general audience. Folklore. It's an action RPG adventure starring two heroes, Ellen and Keats. Death is the central theme of its story, driving both protagonist growth as well as the journey they embark on. In fact, one of the worlds they travel through is literally the land of the dead. I must warn you though, this game is divisive and requires a lot of patience. It's about capturing souls like Pokemon, and it even includes the unexpected use of the PS3's motion controls. Curiously, this has made it a cult game, both loved and hated in equal measure. Heavenly Sword. Does Ninja Theory ring a bell? They're the minds behind Hellblade. But before giving us one of the most dreamlike adventures of recent years, they surprised us with Heavenly Sword, a hack and slash that showcased the technical prowess of the PlayStation 3. Seeing this in 2007 was impressive. While it may not reach the heights of the colossal combos offered by Devil May Cry, it has various types of levels that keep it from falling into the monotony that sometimes plagues this genre. Beyond Two Souls. I'll mention Quantic Dream twice in this video, but both times are well justified. In 2010, David Cage wanted to tell us a dark story with heavy rain, and years later, he gave us Beyond Two Souls, an even more cinematic, dramatic, and impactful interactive adventure, thanks to the hyper-realistic portrayal of its main actors. Dodie, the protagonist, steals the show with the incredible work done to depict her life's different stages. If you enjoy good interactive adventures with some extrasensory powers, this is your game. Ratchet and Clank.
Final step, attach robotic ignition system. Thank you for using help desk technology.
Clank and Ratchet, a duo of heroes who have been with us for many years and who, with each new game, continue to steal the spotlight. In Nexus, they face off against Vendra and Neftin Prague, two intriguing villains from the Netherverse. While the game could have had a bit more depth in its gameplay, it was still a great send-off for the PlayStation 3, as it was released at the end of 2013. Resistance 3. Resistance 3 closes out a trilogy of fantastic games that blend dystopian science fiction with an even grittier World War II. All of this while delivering some intense shooting action against an alien invasion hell-bent on wiping out humanity. When it was released, this third entry was a standout in the shooter genre, adding something its predecessors didn't: a compelling emotional component brought to life through the protagonist, Joseph Capelli. I'll just say that I hope this IP returns on PS5 and that Insomniac keeps delivering the same kind of joy we've come to expect from them. Gran Turismo 5. Introducing new and previously unseen licenses in the series, like the World Rally Championship, NASCAR, or Super GT, Gran Turismo 5 was the ultimate racing title on the PS3. In 2010, it was a huge thrill to see damaged cars and refined physics that set a new standard in the genre. It's not the best in its series, and at times it lacks inspiration, but when talking about Sony's console, we couldn't forget one of its most acclaimed and revered franchises: Journey. It's hard to describe Journey in just a few words without reducing it to a grand, unforgettable sensory experience. It's art in its most vivid sense. It's a journey, both literally and metaphorically, that conveys a vast range of emotions, including loneliness and isolation. It's perhaps the strangest title on this list, but also the most imaginative, different, and personal. It'll only last you a few hours, but every one of those hours will touch your emotions in ways few games have. Killzone 2.
Holy shit! What the fuck was that? Lightning! Looks like global lockdown! Shit! No one told us that!
The first Killzone wasn't a massive hit, but with this sequel, Guerrilla Games went all out with one of the best shooters of its time. Interestingly, its production was marred by a controversial and turbulent development. An amazing single-player campaign, an addictive multiplayer mode, and graphics that left us speechless in 2009. Now, we lead the ISA invasion forces onto the enemy's terrain, the Hell, Gast's home planet. The infamous and Infamous 2. Have you ever felt tempted to be a supervillain like Magneto or a great hero like Spider-Man? With the first two Infamous games, you can choose between both paths. Set in the city of Empire City and New Marais, the story unfolds like a comic book with gorgeous panels narrating the scenes. If you're a fan of the superhero genre, these games are indisputable must-plays. Then, with the PS4, the good folks at Sucker Punch continued to make us question whether it's cooler to be a hero or a villain. Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet was a phenomenon in the late 2000s. The charming Sackboy characters caused quite a stir on their little planet, and on the PS3 they sparked a real revolution, especially in the platforming genre. On the surface it looks like a kid's game, but if you dig deeper you find a lovingly crafted game. A game so detailed that it even pays attention to the facial expressions of its protagonist, Sackboy, whom we always remember with a smile. Special mention goes to its online level editor, where you could build, destroy, and edit to your heart's content, a great precursor to what we'd see years later with Mario Maker. Heavy Rain.
Jim, what's your name?
Jason.
Which balloon would you like?
Heavy Rain reached the pinnacle of graphic adventures in 2010. Quantic Dream had already done well with Fahrenheit, but it was with this dark, mysterious, and gritty title that many were inspired to venture, pun intended, into graphic adventures.
Jason! No!
It wasn't a coincidence. The mystery of the origami killer brings more tension than the heavy rain that drenches the events of this story. Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. It took its time to arrive, but Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch was one of the best exclusives on the PlayStation 3. We now have its remastered version on many platforms, so there's no excuse not to play one of the most outstanding RPGs out there. The incredible work that unites Studio Ghibli with Level 5 puts us in the shoes of Oliver, on a journey as magical as it is unforgettable. Thanks to Drippy, the pint-sized fairy, this journey will not only be exciting, but also very, very fun.
Nice fire!
God of War Ascension.
Skilled at teaching respect.
We move from the beautiful animation of heartwarming stories to the blood-soaked flagship of PlayStation, where you unleash testosterone like crazy with God of War Ascension. We once again control Kratos, but this time as a younger, more remorseful version. What makes this entry so interesting beyond being a good prequel is that visually, it's insane. It also introduces multiplayer to the series for the first time, which, while not outstanding, is pretty fun. Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. Few people age as gracefully as our dear Solid Snake, who returns in Metal Gear Solid 4 to tie up the narrative loose ends of the trilogy created by Hideo Kojima. Its storytelling is impressive, spread across a 5-act campaign that lasts around 20 hours. Guns of the Patriots also features an intriguing multiplayer mode, but it doesn't compare to a story with a frantic, mature rhythm that still makes us think over 15 years after its release. Demon Souls. Do you know where the Great Souls phenomenon was born? Where the massive From Software fandom originates? Demon Souls? Now we can enjoy this gem in its PlayStation 5 remake. But even on the console we're discussing, we could already feel how its dark fantasy world takes our breath away and of course our lives. Incredibly difficult with a jaw-dropping bestiary, this is the great foundation from which From Software's many masterpieces emerged. The rest is history. God of War 3. We waited for God of War 3 like May showers. Those were long waits to find out how Kratos' Greek story would end. Would he fulfill his revenge? Would he finish off his electrifying father?
My vengeance ends now. Zeus! Your son has returned. I bring the destruction of Olympus!
Jokes aside, on the PlayStation 3, we felt Kratos' terrible wrath like never before as he sailed through the underworld to fulfill his long-desired vengeance. We talked about Ascension earlier, but the conclusion of the Great Spartan Trilogy is video game history. Uncharted Trilogy.
Now let's smash it and get the hell out of here.
Wait. Something's not right.
What do you mean?
Marco Polo had it wrong. This isn't a sapphire, it's amber.
Amber.
Yeah, you know, fossilized resin. It's tree sap. Wait a minute.
What is it?
You gotta be shitting me.
Hello, Nate.
I hate it when he does this.
With Uncharted, I am going to cheat a little because, to be fair to the other exclusives, I can't just put 3 games from the same series on the list. So I've included them as one complete compact package, because that's how this trilogy should be experienced. Finish the first, move on to the second, and then dive straight into the third. On PlayStation 3, Nathan Drake's adventures shone brightly with fantastic action levels, breathtaking sequences that even Indiana Jones would envy, and a soundtrack that has become a staple in video game history.
Here, I thought you might miss this.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You two got a funny idea of romantic.
Sully! Wow, you look like hell.
You should see the other guys. Got us a boat.
We already have a boat.
Yeah, big boat.
I like this one better.
Sully, you beautiful son of a bitch!
Borrowed it off a couple of pirates who were too dead to care.
Persona 5. What could go wrong in the hands of the Thieves' Ghost? Absolutely nothing. Whether on PS3 or PS4, we got to enjoy one of the best JRPGs of all time. Persona 5 has an incredible subtext that addresses many social issues we still face today, all set in real, recognizable contexts like Tokyo's Akihabara or the iconic Shibuya. It's a long game, made even longer by its royal expansion that we got to enjoy years later. The Last of Us.
There you are.
Sarah, are you okay?
Yeah?
Does anyone come in here?
No, who would come in here?
Don't go near the doors. Just stand back there.
Dad, you're kind of freaking me out. What's going on?
It's the Coopers. Something ain't right with them. I think they're sick.
What kind of sick?
Jesus. Jimmy!
Dad?
Honey, come here. Come here. Jimmy! Jimmy, just stay back! Jimmy, I am warning you! Don't!
Now, there are more The Last of Us remasters and remakes than there are numbered entries. But in 2013, Naughty Dog marked a turning point in their storytelling. All with 2 very specific characters, Joel and Ellie. You probably already know their story and the major conflict they face. Without a doubt, it's the best exclusive on this platform, having sparked a massive transmedia phenomenon that even led to a series starring Pedro Pascal as Joel. Seriously, who wouldn't want to say yes to Pedro? Anyways, I've just told you about 20 incredible exclusives that, if I tried to mention all of them, we'd be here forever. So let's try something in the comments. Tell me which games you enjoyed the most on PS3. Include everything, the more the better. See you next time.